All right. Moonshine. Moonshine. Um, Here is our setup. A stove, a copper pot, a coil into a little cup. And there is a cleaver flying through the air and fish stapled to the wall, which will show up in a minute. I might as well get this over with now. We were using Foxfire as our guide. Well, Foxfire was it was a great little book, but it was a senior project uh, where kids went out and took a oral history of Moonshine Country. And so they just kind of piled on the methods. Oh, Jake said do this, and Bill said that, and they put it all together. And it made a big mess. We tried to follow it and had so many different things with using wheat paste for glue. And then bit by bit, we just stripped it down. We didn't have a big, enormous still, so the coil didn't need to be in its own thing, and so on and so forth. All very interesting. But anyway, we were just kids playing grown up. Um, I'm trying to keep my glasses from going like that. I think it's distracting. We'll see how this works. Moonshine is a curious way to drink because the first jigger is 192 proof and a real jolt to the system. Then when it comes out, it gets weaker and weaker. So far, so good. Trouble starts if you still have the wherewithal to make another batch, which we almost always did. This led to stapling fish to the wall, or for no special reason, and on one occasion, when parents were visiting, swinging a cleaver to blow off steam and having the blade come loose from the handle just as the dad stuck his head through the curtain of the doorway in the next room, just in time to see it thunk into the wall. Close calls don't count was the word of the day in several years. Still not a bad guideline, the way things are going. The first jigger overflowed a few drops, uh, which took the varnish and stain off of a 100-year-old stool that it was sitting on. That was concerning, but no more than a passing thought. We were using Foxfire book for a guide in which high school students collected all the moonshine lore they could find. So we started out building a uh, way more complicated thing than we needed, and in steps settled for what you see in the drawing, with just three simple ingredients: potatoes or grapes, yeast, and sugar. You couldn't go wrong, and the results were similar to the distance between commercial food prep and home cooking, as in way better. We had a visitor come and we're like, oh my, what should we do? We don't have any moonshine. And somebody said, "Oh, right, you remember they invented the liquor store?" So somebody went to the liquor store and got Johnny Walker Black, and it just there are 1,200 chemicals in the booze industry, and I don't know the name of a single one, but it's the way they make it come out the same every last time. Um, and invent new and interesting ways to poison you, no doubt. But it just tasted fake. It's like someone had dumped something from a perfume bottle in the booze. Um, anyway, in the same vein, the Polish sailors who lived downstairs from us on 6th Street in New York brought 192 proof vodka as a thank you present for teaching them some knots so they could get their seamen's papers. This was before up in the country, for what that's worth. The drill was to have a sip of yogurt, then a sip of firewater, quickly followed by another sip of yogurt. Worked like a charm and had the curious effect of leaving one alert. So after a night of this, we'd go out driving and oh, GRZEGORZ is. I just practiced it on Google Translate. Anyway, so yeah, Zor Rev or something. Damn it. Anyway, his shiny Mustang. He shoveled coal in a foundry for a living, so the Mustang was bought with a lot of sweat. Early one morning, we were stopped at a traffic light on Houston Street when a squeegee guy flopped on the hood and started rubbing the windshield with a dirty, dry piece of paper. Suarez tried to warn him off, or curse him off, really. But when that didn't work, he hopped out of the car, reached under the seat, and pulled out a 3-foot long rubber baton and began whacking the guy on the back. He looked comical given that the middle of the thing made contact with the many layers of the guy's coats while the end was still in the air. And then again, the end was out of sync as the business end was pulled back up for another go. Um, Squeegee Man slid off the car with a groan. No words were spoken. The baton was stashed, and we drove off as this was a perfectly normal exchange. That's the Moonshine story. I also learned that I always thought that wine people get so carried away with different things, and so say, "Oh, this one doesn't travel well," and then we had someone come from a vineyard and run a hose in the house with wine that had already started, still grape juice, and we ran it into a oak cask underneath the table, and I think it made a difference. I don't like wine, but this stuff was great. So that very unscientific experiment told me there was some truth in that traveling thing. Anyway, now I'm allergic to booze. I can't even take a tablespoon. Oh, I went to Passover where you have like wine, like tiny little children's size. No. Anyway, that's another story. Unfortunately, a story that is over. But yeah, stapling fish to the wall. Playing chess, and not me, but some other people sitting there like, yeah, we're playing chess now. All right, that's enough of that.